And now it's time to go home and throw some chairs at Gone Home, an adventure point and click style game from the Fulbright Company. It's coded in Unity. You can pick it up for $20 on Steam or the Humble Store or all sorts of good stuff. Now, then I believe you had a bit of a disclaimer regarding this game.
No, we'll get to that at the end.
Well, we'll get to that. All right, then we might as well just cut to the chair explanation. See, we grade everything here on a 4-chair metric. We have one chair is just no, bad, ew, terrible, awful. 2 chairs means that it's acceptable. It may be a taste issue. It may be it functions, but it doesn't function particularly well. Middle of the road type score. 3 chairs means that it's good. It's not perfect, but it's very, very good. And 4 is just shut up, take my money. It's beautiful. So we got our categories of doom as well. We rate these 4 categories with our 4-chair system. These categories are dun 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 dun. Mix with the working. Does it work? Does it run? How well does it run? Shiny and sounds. Is it shiny? Is it pretty? Does it sound pretty? We got controls, which is pretty self-explanatory. And our final subjective category, fun. And remember, I'm obligated under contract to point this out every week. We have 3 different people using 3 different sets of hardware on 3, really 2 different operating systems. So, let's get started. Then, how did Gone Home work?
Gone Home, man, I tell you, it made with working. Actually, it did work just fine. Out of the box on Ubuntu 12.04, 32-bit LTS running NVIDIA-powered graphics. Take a drink. Gotta give it with the 4 chairs, and bam, right there, J-Man.
Well, my experience wasn't as perfect as yours. It runs out of the box. I don't have to go and muck about with stuff. They were actually nice enough to tar up their DRM-free copy, which was pretty good.
Progress.
I did have to create a Unity prefs file for getting it to work on multiple monitors. So that makes it a bit user unfriendly. That should be configurable. So I'm going to give that 3 chairs. Not perfect, but still works.
And on my end, I had a similar experience to Jordan's, except mine stretched all the way across both my monitors. So I just had to go to the options menu and tone it down a little bit. But other than that, no worries, and everything technically worked out of the box, so 4 chairs for me.
Well, that about wraps that category up, and if we're going to do really difficult mathematics here, we can find out that this averages to 3 chairs for Mix with the Working.
Ooh.
So, once again, our chair explanation, for those of you who have scrolled out, 3 chairs is check it out. So, it works.
Check it out.
It may not be perfect, but it's still good. Coming up next is shiny and sounds. Then, did you eargasm? Did you eyegasm?
Let's take a look at it. You can't say you really, my eyes did not barf by looking at this. There's something I always like to say is if you want to see how a game really looks, take off all the crap. Now, this had 2 layers of crap on it, the blurry everything filter and bloom. You disable that, you're left with very Half-Life, lower than Half-Life 2 looking models and graphics with the Unity engine. Wholly unoptimized, man. This thing made with so many herky jerks on 560 Ti's that I even put them in SLIs, like, okay, because I don't normally run them like that. I want to see if it's just not performing with this awesomeness. Same issue, and I was a bit worried, but J-Man will elaborate on this. Voice work, however, coming up with sounds. Voice work, the story, all that, audio, perfect. I loved it. And honestly, it was the first time I've ever told Rain to shut the fuck up. So, I gotta weigh that down and be honest, throw 2 chairs in its direction.
Well, I found it incredibly choppy. I'm running a 670 superclocked with not the latest NVIDIA graphics drivers, but maybe
I guess
one
I
or two
should say I
releases
was
back.
running the latest beta drivers.
The latest. I'm running a beta driver. I think I'm too lazy to go check
Steam
right now.
recommends.
It's like 319.25 or something like that. Or 325.19, whichever one. Anyways, I do agree with Ben. The voice work is actually pretty terrific, and it does the look of this game and the sounds. More of the sounds do create this wonderful environment. It creates this wonderful atmosphere that they really did the soundscape incredibly well. Kudos to their sound designer. However, climbing a pair of stairs or climbing a flight of stairs just throws you in bullet time. And this happens all the time. It's laggy at like the most randomest spots. So I'm gonna give this 2 chairs. P-Man.
And for once, my calculator with a Mobility Radeon 5650 HD using FGLRX 13.8 Beta 1, I didn't have the herky jerks. But, to be fair, I disabled VSync and anti-aliasing, because if Oblivion has taught me anything is that Bloom and the anti-aliasing don't get along. But on my end, with those 2 things off, it ran smooth. The sounds, like has been mentioned before, the sounds were amazing. The atmosphere will suck you in like a $10 hooker in the back of the alley.
Dear Katie.
Good job, seriously.
I'm sorry I can't be there to see you.
There was the fact that it's a 1.4 gigabyte
I'm just sorry.
download for a 90-minute game.
But please,
air quotes.
please, whatever you might...
Pedro,
Out of those-
that's Shiny and Sounds. Shiny and Sounds.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but those are some really high-res textures, right? They have to be. How do you explain that size of download, right?
I'm going to throw a chair at you if you
Tide
don't
goes
throw a
in,
chair
tide
at
goes
me.
out.
Okay, so 3 chairs for me.
So that averages out to 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Now, Control. Ven, did you feel like you were in control?
Oh, we're looking at a better trailer video. At this point, the controls worked well enough. I had the occasional, gerbil input flip the hell out while I was running around the house, menacingly screaming, "Here's Johnny." But, just like putting things, just moving stuff about, just randomly. Not often, but just enough to make me not be quite sure. But in all fairness, there's really no point where you have to be precise in this game. So,
Not really, no.
can't really knock it anything but 1 chair on the controls, because they do work for what they are. I'd really like something like the Amnesia setup with the hands and all that. I think something Unity really shows it's not really made for this type of game. And
Yeah.
so, at the end of the day, take a drink. I'm going to have to throw 3 chairs in the control department in the general direction of this.
Yeah, I got the input flip out occasionally where it would just like go blah.
That's
That
exactly
is
what
the
it
technical
does.
term
You
for it.
ju-
Blah.
It's just Jordan, and it goes blah, and you're like, what? That's the most frightening thing in the game.
Whatever you might
Yeah,
find.
but I mean, for what it was, I mean, it's a point and click adventure game. The controls aren't particularly complex. I think I might have needed to adjust my mouse at one point. I don't particularly recall, but for the most part, the game controlled as well as you would expect. Aside from, climbing upstairs and slowing down to a
Moving,
snail's pace. So, 3 chairs on Control. It worked.
Okay, finally. Finally, a Unity game that comes pre-configured with the arrow keys and the mouse sensitivity slider actually works. That's all I'm going to say about it. 4 chairs. No quarter given.
Well then, so that averages out to 3 chairs on the controls. Because, Pedro has to have his arrow keys. So, our final category of Doom, our chair explanation, is the fun, the subjective category. Did we have our jollies with this game then?
Was this game fun? Well, this game, to be perfectly honest with you, is an absolute tearjerker. I really wanted, something like a suicided teen up in that basement, or slaughtering or something, because without spoiling it, you really get the idea that something nefarious went on. And I understand maybe that was part of the story, but no, you get more of a happy, mothering ending. So I was in tears of rage.
Ooh.
So, if this was a $4 title, I would definitely give it 2 cheers, maybe even 3 at that price. But at $19.99, wet stinky caches for the fun category and having 0 replay value. 1. I'm not even touching on the shortness of it.
Yeah, there's this whole issue with the game and the whole payoff thing, because it builds up. It's like, what the hell is going on? There's interesting stuff happening. And as you progress through the game, nothing happens, and nothing happens, and nothing happens, and nothing happens. And it's this great little moment where you pick up a little crucifix, and if you read it, it says, "The power of Christ compels you." And then the lights go out, and it's like, what the hell? Shit's going down. And
It's
nothing
on
happens.
now.
And nothing happens, and nothing happens, and nothing happens. And then these idiots were watching me play. We get to the final area. I walk up backwards because I'm half expecting a jump scare. It's just like zombie lesbians coming out of the woodwork. But no, no. We get that ending. Just disappointing. Complete lack of payoff. I felt like my time was wasted. 1 share.
And I guess I'm being the nice guy in this review, because, okay, it's a 90-minute movie you get to play through.
It's a game though. You're
That's
supposed
the
to
thing,
play
it's not
games,
exactly a
not
game.
like walk
You're just
forward and click on everything.
It says game, clearly.
Yeah, well, I think it's a movie.
Also, what is with like the house having like a Super Nintendo or like Super Nintendo games and no Super Nintendo?
Yeah,
the video has the Super Nintendo.
no
Alright.
Super Nintendos, no VCRs, no nothing.
No, nothing.
Fine.
But yeah.
Jordan, save it for final thoughts.
Okay.
Let P-Man.
Okay, so 90-minute movie you get to play through, and unfortunately, even for a movie, it's too short, and there's really not enough going on. There's not enough variety for me to give it a higher score. So for me, 2 chairs.
And that will wrap up our final and only subjective category, which brings that to 1 chair for fun. So if we average up our 3 chairs for Makes with the Working, 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds, 3 chairs for Controls, and 1 chair for Fun, we get a grand total, and this is a 2-chair game with an asterisk. So then,
Say,
do you have
not
any
sure
final
if once.
Yep, definitely
Not sure if
not
once.
sure if one. Well, man, I think we all have a bit of a rant for this. What
Yep.
really puzzled me was I condensed my original rant just to make it more friendly for everyone. And everyone, IGN and all this is like 9.9, whatever, however many stars, because they don't understand the only way to review games is with chairs, clearly.
clearly.
We've refined the system
They're
over the
doing
years.
it wrong.
Doing it wrong. All right, LGBT community, huge with us and all that, fine. Loved the story, liked it, thought it was sweet and all that. That's fine. Don't care about that. We're talking about a game, quote unquote. All right. What type of psychotic little twisted shit was this little sister of hers? Knowing the sister was going to come home, and she nopes out, locks shit up, puts clues around the house, and leaves things up in the basement. Why not leave a little fucking note right there at the front?
Ven, obviously, when you want Anne to go pick up some stuff at the grocery store, you leave a bunch of clues around so that she can go to the attic and find the grocery list.
Well, yeah,
Obviously, you have to devise some sort of Scooby-Doo type scenario.
I'm just saying.
And you know that's a
The mental gymnastics required to make just the premises of this just makes sense. God. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to say Scooby-Doo is the perfect description for what the hell is going on in this game.
Yep.
Thank you. It is damn Scooby-Doo. All we needed is like the surf rock in the background and people chasing you and like coming out of random ass doors. And believe me, this game is nothing. This is door opening the game.
Pretty much.
But I do like how all the doors open both ways.
Yes.
Yeah, because every house in America has.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this? Final thoughts. I'm going to say 20 quid for 90-minute game. Doesn't have any replay value, man. Short story, graphics. Yeah, they're there. I mean, once you cut off the blurry filter, that said, I enjoyed the story. It would make a good short story that I might pick up on Audible for like 4 quid.
It might make a good short film.
Oh,
yeah. Like a 30-minute movie or so.
Yeah.
So, I'm fine with all of it. End of the day, I'm just going to go, P-Man.
Yeah, so for my end, is it worth $20? No. No, I'm sorry. Okay, not even to the DRS or fan crowd.
Well, nobody in any of the forums said anything like that. We're the first people.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't read that at all anywhere in the forums.
Nope.
And I'm talking about their forums, not ours.
So, this, it should be priced considerably lower. Like Ven said, I don't know, $5, maybe $4? That would definitely be much more reasonable. With that said, though, I did enjoy the story. It is a nice story, but I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, it was building up, the atmosphere was building up to some tragic reveal of
poltergeist,
shit having gone
crosses,
down.
pentagrams, the Ouija
Yeah.
boards.
It's like the Craft meets Poltergeist meets up until the end.
There's a word for this in the English language that I've learned. It's called cock tease.
Yes, precisely.
That's a very ironic adjective given the context of the game.
Zing!
But I think
It
that
is,
wraps up
and,
our rambling
unfortunately-
about Gone Home. A $20 game, this isn't. If you want to experience it, wait until it goes on sale. If it hits $5, pick it up.
definitely.
But other than that, it's $20 wasted. Go buy like a used copy of.
But I'm looking forward to the next
something.
story. Maybe just adjust the price.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe if this was like an anthology of like different stories. With
Or hey, if you're
if
paying
it was a
20 for the
multiplayer.
game, they'll give you
Yeah.
the rest of them for free.
yeah, but
Maybe?
this is not a game. This is a VR Scooby-Doo simulator. But that wraps up our review of Gone Home.